Hey guys, welcome back. Today I'm back with another new IM, the ZiiGaat X Fresh Review Arete. This is the IM that ZiiGaat has in collaboration with Fresh Review, a YouTuber who is also a professional gamer that reviews gaming mice, headphones, and in-ear monitors. By incorporating his gaming experience into the Arete, ZiiGaat is aiming to create an IM with great musical experience as well as gaming capabilities. The Arete is a hybrid IM with one biocellulose dynamic driver for the bass and 4 balance armature for the mids and treble. It is currently selling for $250 on Linso. I would like to give a special thanks to Linso for sending this IM over in exchange for an honest review and impression. So similar to the Doscinco, the Arete arrived in a relative simple boxing. The content of the box is also simple. They include the IM themselves, a rectangular carrying case with a few pairs of tips and a cable inside of it. Overall, a very bare-bones amount of accessories for the price. Onto the design, the Arete shells are made out of medical-grade black resin. It feels very light, yet sturdy to the hands. The faceplate of the Arete looks very minimalistic, yet really nice. It has a gray, swirly, flowy epoxy patterns with many glistening pink or purplish confetti pieces. Depending on the angle, those confettis can have a different color to them. The shells are on a bigger side than your average IM. It doesn't have the usual rear wings like many other universally fit IM. So to me, the Arete does need a bit of wiggle action and play around with several E-tips to get a decent fit. The isolation is also around average level, heavily depending on the E-tips and fit. Cable-wise, it is very basic. It is a 4-course oxygen-free copper with plastic hardware. The outer PVC sleeves feels a bit stiff as opposed to being soft and plush. The strands are only around 2mm thick, so it's not the thickest. The quality of the cable reminds me of some of the cheaper cable from K-Bear or Sins. Although it gets the job done, I would have preferred a thicker or higher quality cable so that it is harder to tangle up. Onto the sound impression. So before I dive into it, the Arete has reverse polarity, judging by the impulse response. That's why during this review, I have rotated the cable and listened to the IM in the correct polarity. Since I didn't bother cutting the ear hooks, I just used a lighter to soften the ear hooks, then bend it the other way. Tonality-wise, the Arete has a balanced mid-centric tuning. Let's start with the bass. The Arete has quite a balanced amount of sub-bass and mid-bass, although the sub-bass is still a little bit more than the mid-bass. Why So Serious bass drop and Tremolo's Chameleon has good texture and reverberation and air movement. It is tight, yet just sound diffusing enough. It has that classic lingering sense of dynamic driver, while not being overly done. If it is overly done, it would make the bass hits too drawn out and too sluggish. For the mid-bass has good authority and texture as well. It's not the meatiest mid-bass region ever, but it still packs a punch. Kick drums have good presence and definition to them, evident in AC/DC rock songs. Not just kick drums, but also contrabass, cello, or tackle drums, everything sounds nice. Overall, my tiny nitpick about the bass is that I would have wanted a bit more mid-bass on some songs that have many bass instruments, so that they would have more heft and body to them. However, I understand the tuning of choice for the bass of the Arete so that it would not mask the details of the mid-range, and because the bass of the Arete already sound good, with 80% of my library, I'm already quite satisfied with it. General pop or electro pop songs sound quite fun with the Arete. The transients of the dynamic driver also isn't the fastest, so don't expect hardcore metals to sound good with the Arete. Onto the mid-range, so with a bass shelf that got cut off at 250Hz, the lower mid-range sound very clean and clear with just a hint of warmth to it. There is no bass bleed or muddiness going into the mid-range. Instruments have quite a natural timbre to my ears. Piano notes sound very pleasant on the ears with just enough amount of resonance. Violin and viola sound smooth and velvety. Woodwind's instruments sound a bit mellow and rich while still keeping each of their natural tone. The note weights of these instruments are surprisingly good, even if the graph shows that there is a flat upper bass and lower mid-range. It's not too light and not too heavy. Both male and female vocals are on a balancing neutral spectrum. They're definitely not synth sounding. I would say female vocals are a bit better than male vocals with the Arete. With male vocals, the baritones sound quite smooth, yet not quite sick sounding. Tenor sounds exactly on point to my ears, so I have no complaint about it. For my female vocals, I think mezzo and soprano still have that classic lively and engaging sound to them, while also sounding silky. Contralto, although still sound expressive, lacks just a tiny bit of depth and chesty characteristic to it. At higher volume, the Arete doesn't exhibit any shoutiness. With the song Shivers by Ed Sheeran, there is very little amount of sibilant. If I have to nitpick about the mid-range, it does lack that very bit of sharpness and definition to it. Going into the treble to me sounds quite relaxing. It is decently extended, just not the most airy or having a lot of sparkles or brilliance. The upper harmonics are there, supporting the rest of the frequency while not sounding too overbearing. The quality of the treble is actually quite good, as it doesn't sound harsh, splashy, or spiky. There is also some slight sense of BA timbre, but after a while or when I'm not paying attention, I don't notice it as much. With Caravan by John Watson, cymbal crashes and hi-hats just sound forward enough, still sound natural but more on a softer side. Besides the initial attack, the decaying or the tail notes extracted only slightly below the surface level. It's not like a smooth glide where it's extracted every minute detail. Because of that, I feel like the resolution is only at a decent level. Now, onto the technicalities. Even with the help of Fresh Review, I think the soundstage of the Arete isn't the biggest. All of the three dimensions are above average. I would say it has more depth and width than height. Imaging, on the other hand, is honestly great. In my opinion, it is one of the best imaging from a sub $300 IM. I myself am not an avid gamer, so take my opinion with a heavy pinch of salt. So with Apex Legends, I can easily follow the direction of where the enemies come from, the footsteps or the changes of direction when I'm moving around and such. The imaging capabilities also shows itself with the first 30 seconds of the track Letter by Yosi Horikawa, where you can just close your eyes, immerse yourself into the track itself, detecting and following those spatial cues with great accuracy. The layering by extension is also good, although it's not the sharpest or most laser-cutted layering I am. Onto the comparison, the first I am that I will compare the Arete with is another hybrid from ZiiGaat, the Doscinco. The Doscinco uses 2 dynamic drivers for the bass and 3 balance armature for the mids and treble. For the sound, the Doscinco has a balanced L-shaped tuning, while the Arete has a more mid-centric tuning. For the bass, the Doscinco has higher sub-bass and mid-bass quantity with faster transients, while the Arete sounds more balanced and has better textured bass despite having a bit lower driver speed. The bass sound more organic and natural with the Arete. For the mid-range, the Doscinco is more colored or warmer than the Arete. It feels more recessed and a bit drier, less life to the vocals than the Aretes. Female vocals sound clearer, less view on the Arete, while male vocals sound lusher and denser on the Doscinco. Instruments timbre is more natural on the Arete as well as having more breathing room between them. As for the treble, the Arete has more energy up top, while the Doscinco sounds more laid back and smoother. The lower bass shelf of the Arete does make the details coming through easier. Technicality-wise, I think the Arete wins in terms of imaging and soundstage. The Doscinco feels like it is focusing on the fun factor more than the technical factor. The second IM that I will compare with the Arete is the Simgot Supermix 4. So the reason for this comparison is that from a graph perspective, the Arete sort of fixes some points of the SM4 that I don't like as much. First is that it lowered the sub-bass amount, and second is the lower upper mid-range. Together with this combo, the Arete now sounds more mid-centric and more of a loud volume set to me. The bass of the Arete now sounds more organic with better texture on the bass instruments. Mid bass are now punchier, more authoritative, less masking by the sub-bass. Bass instruments have more presence to them. The bass on the SM4 excel in the cleanliness and the sub-bass extension. The mid-range on the SM4 feels more forward and clearer, but noticeably more fatiguing on the ear at higher volume. The Arete's mid-range feel more velvety. Female vocals have higher clarity on the SM4, but it is also shoutier than the Arete. Male vocals sound not as lean on the Arete, and the Arete has thicker note weight. The treble on the SM4 is noticeably smoother, with more detail extracted. The decaying of the percussion instruments feels softer and wispier, yet it is also plaque with the piezoelectric timbre. The treble on the Arete is more laid back and more inoffensive. Technicality-wise, the Arete wins by quite a large margin in the imaging department, while the soundstage sounds wider and deeper. So yeah, I really enjoy the Arete. Although the Arete doesn't have many accessories included, with its sound performance, I do think the Arete is worth its asking price. If you are looking for an IM with a balanced tonality, with the mid-range that's standing out more in the spotlight, without having to use the overly boosted pinna gain, or an IM with a superb imaging capability suitable for many types of FPS game, I would highly recommend the Arete. As for music, I think the Arete is suitable for a wide range of music, such as pop, electropop, rock, and orchestra. That's it for my review, and thank you for watching.